Hello. So I guess this story deserves a little preface. Obviously, I'm very small. Most of you probably can't see me. So I'm a board sporting bone breaker. So I've broken a lot of bones in my body. I'm really not fearful of most things, but I guess the story is about lust for life and really the first time I've ever really been scared in my life as it came to me and about an experience. So in 2008, I got a call from some friends of mine that own a communications company in Beirut. They had bid on a project for the government and were like, hey, we know you're super talented. We'd love for you to have this experience with us and please help us. And at the time, I was, I was much younger than I am now. And I said, absolutely, I'm game. So let's do this. It involved traveling to Joint Base Balad, which at the time was a very large military installation in the middle of the desert. We took Saddam's air base over and made it our home for a lot of people, a lot of soldiers, a lot of third country nationals, all of it. So I said yes, and it involved me traveling through Paris, into Lebanon, and then through helicopter to Baghdad, and then into the actual base. This story is about the travel to and from, and the most fearful parts of my life ever. So basically, I flew from here, Philly, to Paris. That was very great. I'm in Charles de Gaulle, I'm sitting, getting massages and doing all of that. And then I took a very small helicopter plane type of situation, very old prop plane, as you call it, where we're taking off. There's only one pilot. There's no guided by wire situation going on. The only pilot comes out of the cockpit as he's flying it to serve us croissants and orange juice. And my main concern was just please fly the plane. It's very old, and land it where we need to land. So, we finally get to Baghdad, and as I was told, okay, you're going to land. This guy's going to meet you. You'll give him your, information and some money. He'll get you a visa, and you'll, enter in Baghdad, and then we'll get you a drive to the hotel. So that was my mission. That's what I did, and so I land. It's now midnight in Balad, or in Baghdad rather. There's only like 3 other people. Most of them are not very small Caucasian Americans. I see one gentleman, obviously he looks like Hassan, my driver, and he just comes up to me and asks me he's like, so you're Patrick? I was like, yes. And he said, can I have your, the $200 for the visa and your passport? And so I gave him $200, all the money in my wallet, and my passport, and he disappears down a hallway. And then the gravity of the situation hit me for the first time of I just gave this guy all the money I have and my passport. And I'm in a country that my country has not very good relations with at the moment. This is probably a bad idea, and retrospectively, I'm young and dumb. So half an hour later, I'm starting to get worried now. Do I remember my parents' phone number? Can I call them from this phone that I don't know how to dial? I don't have any money, so how will I do that? And basically that happens, and 45 minutes go by, really worried, then an hour, and then he eventually comes back, hey, you're clear. So now we're good. First worry avoided, and then we are now in his car, and we're driving down these unlit streets through hostile territory, and we get to what was known as the green zone at the time, which was a US-controlled little area. Hey, this is very friendly to people, let's do this. And as I'm driving through, all I have is my passport, and we're getting, check stopped. And all these soldiers are just looking at me, looking at the passport, looking at my driver, and just giving me you are in a universally really bad idea right now. I hope you know what you're doing. So we navigate through that, and we exit the green zone. So I'm actually in this hotel room that's not in the green zone. The driver drops me off. He brings me upstairs and basically says, there's body armor here, which I could see clearly. There's a pistol in that drawer. Do not go outside. I was wearing diamond earrings at the time. He's like, you look like a very, very attractive package. Do not do any of that. So I'm sitting there contemplating what I'm supposed to do. And I'm upstairs, looking out the window and doing all this stuff. And then the phone rings, and Middle Eastern phones have a very distinctive ring, not like home here. And I'm very nervous. So I go down and pick it up, and he's just like, I'm like, hello? And a pause. And it's Hassan, the driver. He's like, I just want to make sure that you're still inside. And then you didn't go outside. I just want to keep tabs on you. I'm like, thanks, Hassan. And I sleep there and order room service for 2 days. And then he picks me back up, and now we're driving again at night, and we're in this car, and all these green lasers start to happen, and I'm like, he's stopping the car, and now we're just really close to this U.S. convoy that's about to fire on us because we're approaching on it very rapidly. And so he slows down his speed. We eventually navigate out of that. Another heart-stopping moment. Hey, we're about to get fired upon by these friendlies to me. And we get to this helipad. I fly into the base. Very awesome. My first helicopter ride was awesome. And all this cool stuff's going on. Looking out. It's like you're in a movie. Land on the base, and then I do my technology thing for the next 3 months. Great time. We're just living it up. And then, then it's time to go home. And then I'm sitting. It takes like 3 days to kind of like manifest myself on this mission of other, civilian contractors. They're just trying to get home. What that involves is that you are on missions all the time. So like you are just being transported by the armed services as like a convenience. So you are like, they have other stuff to do that's very important, and you just happen to be in their path of things to do. So, they gladly pick you up and drop you off from point A to point B, but it's not, their primary mission is A, to, keep themselves alive, but also you, but you're just not their, not in their scope of thing to do. So, I'm sleeping, and I get woken up, like tapping on this helmet I have, and I wake up, because I've been sleeping there for like 18 hours waiting on this helicopter, and they're like, okay, you're going home now. I was like, okay. And so I get on this, Chinook. It's a very large dual rotor aircraft, portholes out of the side. And I'm on it now, and I'm just very enthralled by the whole situation. It has portholes. I can stare out the window and just glue myself to it. And the soldiers could care less. They've ridden 100 times. They're just going from point A to point B to drop, these really weak civilians off the aircraft. And I'm just staring out this window, and we're just, we're humming through the desert. And I'm looking out, and I start to see like fireflies like all over the place. And I was like, oh, that's like really neat. Like I love bugs and bioluminescence. That's really cool. But then then my actual brain starts to hit me, and I'm like, I'm over the middle of the desert. It's like 130. I don't know many bugs that are just kind of flying around right now. And then as soon as that happens, then I start to hear it, and then my ear connects to my brain. So now I'm actually hearing tracer fire from the ground. So there's actually insurgents and other things going on the ground shooting at this aircraft with tracer fire, which means they're just trying to track it with bullets so they could shoot it down with something much larger. And so now the whole gravity of the situation hits me of being young and involved in this thing, and like, what did I just do? And as that starts to weigh in, now it gets worse, because now I start to see the soldiers amongst themselves starting to chatter. And that's like when the real fear of my life started to kick in. So now these guys that are actually trained to do all this stuff are actually talking in kind of their own fear of like, what should we do? And then I see one get up, which was worse. And then he goes up to the pilot, and they kind of just stopped all the chatter. And now I can hear this very poignant conversation between the pilot and this corporal of, what should we do? Land this and just let us all off and take care of it, or fly through it? And then that was the pause. So now we're talking about 2 minutes of the most fearful time of my life, which was decision A and decision B, both of which are bad to me, but one clearly made more sense to everyone else. And we're just flying, and all this stuff is happening. It's like a tin hammer on metal. It's just this cacophony of noise of actually getting hit by bullets. And I'm really concerned that we're going to just land this thing, and I'm on this helicopter, and all these people are just going to get off, and that's what's going on. But long story short, in Story Slam, that didn't happen. We flew through it, and I landed back safely and got off. But in reflective aspect, I think it was someone that's that jumps out of planes. Snowboards rapidly, surfs my whole life, and really no disregard for my personal body. It was the most fearful time of my life, and it was probably the most awesome time of my life at the same time. So.